Mauricio.
¿Qué pasa, my friend? How are you?
Oh, todo bien, todo bien. ¿Cuánto tiempo, huh?
It's been a long time, my dear Nestor.
So I got my compañero Danny's here as well. He just you cannot see him, but he can hear you and he can see you. Thank you first and foremost, as always, for taking out the time to come on a Boxing Voice and just talk some good old boxing with us.
I'm very happy. I always appreciate the time. I follow the boxing boys and the things that you have done and the way you try to keep the fans engaged in this great sport. So I'm all yours.
Well, you've been traveling all over, man. You were just in Japón.
Yes, this year has been very demanding. I was in Thailand. I went to Rome, London, Philippines, Japan. I'm leaving tonight again to go to London. Next month, Saudi. So it's a good time, but very demanding, and takes a toll on the WBC walks. I have not been consistent.
Yeah, it gets a little bit difficult. It's funny you say that, man. I've been trying to run every day, and it does get difficult with work. Um, but you brought up being in Saudi, and I'm assuming that is going to be for Tyson Fury and Usyk, correct?
Absolutely, yes. One of the biggest fights in recent years, perhaps one of the most important fights in the history of heavyweight boxing, and I'm very enthused, very thrilled about it.
So I take it now with the relationship with Saudi. Is the WBC approving the Bivol and Beterbiev undisputed fight as well?
Yes, the WBC has done the whole process. The fight has been sanctioned. It will be for the four belts, the undisputed, the fight that the world has been claiming for, and the WBC will be part of this undisputed championship.
That's amazing news. So, can we get an update on Carlos Adames and Jamal Charlo? Full champion status, being elevated, maybe. What anything happening with that situation at 160 pounds in the men's division?
Yes, it's coming up shortly. Adames has lined up a world championship fight coming up in the UK, I believe June 8th. And it's a matter of a couple of weeks. We're finalizing some issues. We have been a strong supporter of Jamal through the whole process. His last fight was over the weight. We're just doing the things correctly. But Adames has been very patient, has been an example of confidence and loyalty. And I'm very proud of Carlos Adames.
That's great news, man. We want to definitely see him finally, hopefully, get elevated. Can you confirm or deny, has Terrence Crawford contacted the WBC to try and enforce his champion status at 147 to also be the mandatory for the WBC at 54? Because the winner, obviously, Fondora, has won two belts. He enforced his WBO mandatory status, but Fondora, if he chooses, can vacate the WBO and keep the WBC. Has Crawford or his team contacted to try and be, you know, just like Canelo has done, and how Bill Haney and Devin Haney did from 135 to 140?
I was contacted by Crawford attorney, and
Yes.
basically he just said that he is gonna keep us informed on what the plans are. So
Okay.
we have no specific information regarding any petition from Crawford, just that he will be in contact with us.
Now, I know the WBC doesn't deal in rumors, but again, your relationship with Saudi and the fact that you're going over there, it's rumored that Saudi is interested in Crawford and a fight taking place over there. Have you been contacted for that? Because again, the rumor is, they want that first 54-pound fight to be in Saudi, under Turkey Al Sheikh.
No, as you know, we are not promoters. We have not had any information regarding any Crawford fighting 154 in Saudi or outside of Saudi. I know that Saudi wants Crawford and they want Inoue and they want Canelo and they want Canelo-Benavidez. There's many things, many news coming out. The reality is that Saudi Arabia, under His Excellency Turkey, has been a unbelievable movement in the sport. Many fighters are making a lot of money, changing their lives. There's a great interest in the many promotions that have been scheduled, and it's a very good time for boxing, and this is a great element. I love the way they promote the fights. They do these unbelievable videos and movies and cartoons. So this is something that boxing needs: innovation, visionary promoters that think outside of the box and not just think about booking airplane tickets and hotel rooms and a boring press conference. It's all to the contrary. We're back to the great days of many title fights, and it's a good time for boxing.
Has anyone from Team Stevenson contacted the WBC to activate their status to try and fight the champion above?
You mean Shakur Stevenson?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Shakur is making a title
Title is
defense.
July, yes. But he's a
July.
free agent after that.
No, all I know is that he's making a title defense July 6th.
Cool, cool. As always, we got a couple questions from the people. First one is from Octo. Greetings, Mauricio. What are some of the pros and cons that come with being the president of the WBC?
Well, the pros is that I am able to be with my father every single day, having his guidance, his memory, his legacy. That's a beautiful thing that has happened to me in my life. Pros is that I get to meet a lot of people, especially boxers, amateur fighters, forerunners, champions, legendary champions, former fighters. I get to meet people that love the sport from many countries of the world, get to be in many conversations with anecdotes, get to be in a position to make changes for the betterment of the sport. The cons are mostly personal. Takes a lot of time away from your family, from your personal life, from your health, from your mental wellness. If you don't read social media correctly, you can be very frustrated and angry. But I feel very confident, very comfortable. Every decision that we take has no personal gain, no personal interest. So I feel at ease when I go to bed every single night.
How has it been taking over for your dad? Obviously, big shoes to fill, someone that's been doing this for so long. And now you've been in that position for many years.
It is, as I said, gratifying to be able to follow my father's footsteps, his same principles, his same values. Try always to continue. The key that we all learn in the WBC through my father is that the only thing that matters is the boxer. The boxer before, during, and after their days in the ring. So we do a lot of amateur boxing. We do a lot of social responsibility. We do a lot of taking care of our own after they retire, and we get a handful. Every single day are so many things happening all over the world that you cannot be one moment. Boxing is worldwide, so I get calls from the Orient, from Africa, from Europe, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, midnight, early in the morning. It's a full blown activity that requires full attention and non-stop devotion and passion for it.
I got Ruin the 504 New Orleans. He says, what made the WBC change its mind, allowing Better Bevan Bivol for undisputed fight to go forward?
It is not that we change our mind whatsoever. Basically, the key is this is the world claiming for this fight. We did take the specifics in consideration. Bivol is Kyrgyzstan national and Beteryev Canadian. I don't want to get into anything that is not necessary. The fight is on. We are proudly sanctioning such fight for the undisputed, which is the world that has wanted to be to see this fight. And the WBC is going to make a huge donation to the Ukraine from this fight.
Can you just elaborate a little bit on our conversation before you got on? My co-host Marco with a K was saying, how and when did the WBC become the most prestigious belt when the WBA was around first? Now, I know you're not here to take shots at other sanctioning bodies, but how do you feel you guys surpassed everyone else, if you do feel that way?
I do feel that way, but on our own way. I don't talk about any others. I just pride of what the WBC does and has been doing for many, many years. The WBC was formed back in 1963, and it was clear, especially when my father was elected in 1975, he accepted the election with the condition that he was given full authority by the board to go out and really make changes. The WBC is not just making rankings and sanctioning fights. Since the 70s, we started investing a lot of money in research. In UCLA, the WBC donated $1 million. At that time, 1978, it's a lot of money. And from the studies, the preliminary studies that came out, the government proceeded and gave $50 million to UCLA to continue with those studies. What came out is a protocol that today is used in all emergency rooms in the world, in all armed forces protocols for head injuries. And the information that came out made the WBC be aware of what was happening in the brain of the fighters. Why were fighters getting hurt? Why fighters were dying, why fighters were talking to the walls after they retire. So the WBC has taken many changes, like from 15 to 12 rounds. Now all affiliated titles are 10 rounds. Even we accept 8-round fights. The weigh-in before was the day of the fight. Now it's a day before. The gloves, the ring, the ropes, many things. The mandatory studies, medical studies that are a must now worldwide. So many things. And we care about the fighters. We care about the fans. We support the promoters. Without promoters, there's no boxing. And as I said, everything is for the fighters before, during, and after their life in the ring. So when you look at the history of the WBC and you understand that Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray, Tyson, Hagler, Hearns, Duran, Chavez, Mayweather, Canelo, Pacquiao, Roy Jones, all that is the WBC. And I feel so proud to know that the dream of any fighter in the world is to win the green belt.
I have Malcolm in New York City. Why hasn't the WBC mandated Benavidez versus Canelo to happen? This will force this amazing fight to happen, and not mandating certain fighters to fight is killing the sport.
Well, that's a very popular comment. The reality is that Benavidez became mandatory contender last March, and it has always been clear that this March was the time to order the fight. At the time, Benavidez contracted to fight. He's going to be fighting June 15. while Canelo is fighting May 4. So at this time, there's no need or there's no reason to mandate the fight. We have been in communications with Benavidez. He's going to confirm after his fight in June whether he will come down to 168 or he will remain in 175. I hope this satisfies your question, and I'm happy to respond any single one.
Did you find it strange that he and his dad decided to move up before you can mandate when it was like days away, wasn't it? Technically, days away from happening?
No, but the reality is that the big fights like Benavidez Canelo need to take place at the proper time, at the proper conditions for everyone, especially financially. It's the biggest fight for both fighters economically. And I think Canelo against Munguia is a sensational fight. Benavidez against Vosic is a sensational fight. So we are winning with two great fights and with the possibilities of the many fights that come out from those combinations.
Doubling back to Crawford and his lawyer contacting you. In the event that he did want to activate, I don't know, does the WBC consider it super champion status, or is that just a WBO thing?
No, we don't have super champion.
What is the proper phrase for the WBC champion at the division below to want to fight the champion at the division above?
No, when the WBC gets petitions from the champions, we send a voting to the board of governors, and of course every case is completely different. So I don't know what their petition would be, and we will take it and of course run it through the board of governors. If it has to do with 154, which is super welterweight, we have an interim champion who is Bohachuk, who just came to Mexico City, and we have the champion who is Fundora. So we will have to look into whatever petition is made.
Now, in the event, though, hypothetically, I know you don't deal in hypotheticals, but just indulge us for a bit. Crawford wants to fight the WBC full champion. Spence contacts you, the PBC. They want an opportunity. Does Spence get seniority for being a defending WBC champion for all these years? In Crawford, he only won it once versus Victor Postal and then won it again versus Earl Spence. Is that something that the committee takes into consideration? A guy like a Devin Haney that's been fighting for your youth titles in every single title, or how does that factor?
Every single case is different. So I do not like to speculate. It's very easy to deviate from speculation to having someone get that and consider it a WBC official position. I do not make the decisions in the WBC. We have a board of governors. Whenever there's a specific issue, we make a case. Usually both sides or more sides have their opportunity to present their case, and then a decision is made.
So we all understand how big Canelo is for this sport and economically for this sport. But when you hear him say things like, I can do what I want, does it not bother you? Because it's obviously a direct shot at the rules of boxing, whether that be, your sanctioning or anyone's. Mandatories are the #1 contenders. You're supposed to address them. He never fought Charlo. Granted, I love the move to 75 fighting Kovalev, so I understood, but that was a mandatory. It seems like he chooses which mandatory to fight, and, for fight fans, it looks like he chooses the least amount of resistance when it comes to mandatories. Yeardom, John Ryder, and I can't really even name anymore because they don't happen often.
You know, it's so easy to criticize Canelo because he's the face of boxing. When Muhammad Ali was fighting, half of the people in the arena wanted him to lose. Canelo had an unbelievable year when he won the WBC and unified the whole super middleweight. He defeated three undefeated champions, knocked them out, and nobody says anything about that. Then he went on and challenged Bivol, then came back and defeated Golovkin again, then fought Ryder in a sellout crowd in a stadium, coming back to Mexico 12 years after not fighting in Mexico. Then he defeated easily an undisputed Jermel Charlo. Of course, there's many angles where you can criticize Canelo. I do not pay attention to what is said or what is published because I would go crazy if I was to be concerned of everything that fighters, promoters, media, fans say. I would go crazy. We'll have our favorites. We'll have our. I'm a football fan and I like the Cowboys and I get outraged when I see a call or something. So I understand what the fans feel. All I can say is the WBC is a honorable organization. Proof, countless examples to prove it. Canelo is a special fighter, but he's not ducking anyone, I can tell you that. And he does not rule. He has absolutely the option to do whatever he wants to do. When he was mandated to fight Golovkin in 2016, 17, he got vacated of his title. So it's easy to find conspiracy stories in boxing, but it is not the case.
All right, all right. I have
Mauricio, jump in.
Yes.
Well, just want to say thank you first and foremost, obviously, for joining us. I spoke to you back in December. You had like a Zoom call with a few of the media, and you mentioned this app, and that this app would require anybody in the top 15 and world champions to do monthly weight checks. I know you said that there would be a grace period to sign up and everything. Is that still in the works? Is that gonna become a reality this year?
Yes, yes. We're working very hard. The app is BoxMed. You can even go and get it and use it. The WBC has invested a lot of money, time, and effort in it. You can use it for your own medical protection and your wellness. The WBC is enrolling fighters in which they will have to put themselves their weight once a month, so we can monitor exactly they're not losing too much weight to go into a fight. There are many other features in BoxMed, and I'm very happy, very proud. It's one of the game changers. But with technology, takes time, takes education to the fighters. That's why we have that grace period. But we're moving along very, very well.
Mauricio.
And then
You can find it. You can find it in Android and in Apple as well.
perfect. And that's BoxMed once again. And then I wanted to ask you about
Here it is, BoxMed.
about the belt at 140 and specifically Sandor Martin. Can you give us some clarity on when because I know that was technically Regis's mandatory. Can you give us some clarity on when he became mandatory and just the status of that situation?
Yes, Sandor Martin was mandatory in the convention. Haney took precedent to fight against Prograis. The winner was committed to fight against Sandor Martin. And when Haney against Ryan was made, Sandor Martin entered in a step-aside agreement. So the winner of Haney against Ryan Garcia coming up next week is obligated to fight Sandor Martin next.
So and this was at the last convention, you're saying?
Yes. The
Okay,
convention.
so they would have basically till the end of the year to make that defense or close to.
No, the winner of Ryan Garcia and Haney must fight Sandor Martin.
By when though? Is there a time? Is there a time period, or does it not matter as long as it happens this year?
Well, the winner will have some time to celebrate the victory, and then we go back to business and we order the fight.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to go back to your thoughts, we spoke how the people, the fans and the fighters believe that the WBC is the most prestigious, but amongst the people and fans and fighters, we believe the IBF is the strictest when it comes to mandatories. They seem to be the only ones that truly enforce a mandatory regardless of how popular, quote unquote, a fighter is. You've seen them strip just about everyone, Canelo included. That's not the case with the WBA and the WBC. You guys, are more lenient for whatever reasons the fighter petitions you consider it. Does that bother you that the IBF has that one up on you?
That doesn't mean they have one up on anybody. We have to service boxing. What good does it do to strip a fighter for whatever reason? I don't like stripping fighters whatsoever. We have the absolute flexibility under our rules to try to find the best solution and the best mediation to get the biggest fights as possible. It is a very wrong interpretation by saying that the one that strips fighters is doing their job. I'm not talking about any other organization. I'm just talking about the WBC. We take every single case separately because in boxing you have injuries, you have legal disputes, you have contract disputes, you have personal issues, you have different platforms, different promoters. We have to make a puzzle and construct the most beautiful scenario for the best fights to happen. So I completely in disagreement with that analysis.
Can you see the argument of the fighter? For instance, in a Mantis Stanionis, not your fighter. He's a WBA guy just waiting and waiting and waiting, where IBF would just take that belt. If you ain't going to do nothing with it, we taking it. If you're not going to defend it.
The IBF had this case in welterweight. This fighter
with Earl Spence. That's the one case where they took very long. His only mandatory was with Ocampos. But
he collected like 3 or 4 step aside. They did okay. They did good. Why would the IBF strip Spence when he's fighting, leading up to fight Crawford? That's the right decision by the IBF.
But what about that #1 contender, though? He's starving for that position.
No, he was so happy collecting step-aside fees.
I love that. So is Sandor happy?
Sandor is, well, he went to see me in Rome, and he was extremely upset. And we talked about it, and today he's very happy because he trusts WBC.
All right, so Mauricio, we're gonna hopefully you agree, because I've learned throughout my years doing this. Obviously, this is a very popular show, so a few of your fighters are watching this. They contacted me. One in particular would love to speak to you live and plead to you. Would you be interested? Because I don't want to just send him the link and it be a sabotage. This is a popular fighter, though.
Anything. I don't say no to any question. I don't.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. See, the man of the people. No other president does that. Let me tell you. I've had Daryl Peoples on here several times, but he cancels so much. No one is like you that addresses the people. We talk about that a lot. You know, you don't care if a person is coming at the WBC. You do give them time, big, little, small. So I do appreciate that. So the person, the Phantom Fighter, is Cody Crowley. I'm assuming he wants to know why he has to fight another WBC eliminator when his last fight was a WBC eliminator, and Mario Barrios gets to fight Fabian Maidana instead of fighting Cody Crowley. But whenever he jumps on, I guess we'll find out his true intentions. But you can answer that in the meantime.
Yeah, I can wait for him or whatever you like.
Well, you're right. Let's wait for him so you don't have to repeat anything. In the meantime, we will keep it moving. I sent them the link because, again, I didn't want to send it without getting the approval from you. So we'll have Baby Joker. He's next. So, Danny, can you read that one in Spanish so I don't butcher it? I can try. Saludos desde Guanajuato, Mauricio. Mi pregunta...
Guanajuato.
Mauricio, mi pregunta, ¿qué tal grande sería una victoria de Munguía y Luis Neri para Tijuana y México? ¿A cuál le da mejor oportunidad de ganar? Gracias por todo tu tiempo. Viva México, cabrones. So I did all right. I did all right.
Either one. Both. If Munguia defeats Canelo, it would be a gigantic victory for Munguia. And very, very unfortunately, this fight in Japan is being eclipsed by this so much activity with the Canelo Munguia and with the Ring of Fire in Saudi. But the fight between Inoue and Neri is taking place at the Tokyo Dome. The last fight at Tokyo Dome was when Buster Douglas knocked out Tyson. So it's a huge, huge event. If Neri is able to... Hello, champ.
God bless. God bless. How are you, Mauricio?
Good, good. Very happy to see you. Very proud of the work that you do with the mental health and a WBC ambassador, my champ.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's why I wanted to get on here. First of all, thank you. Not many promoters come or
he's not a promoter. He's not a promoter.
Organization, sorry, comes up and will answer any questions openly. So I've always respected that about you. And I just wanted to ask for my own clarity, my own mental health, right? I'm a fighter. I train to go and fight the best. I never want to take a step backwards. After I fought for the WBC title eliminator, 4 or 5 months after, there was a WBC interim title. And I didn't understand because I just fought an eliminator. I should be fighting in that fight. And then there's, if not, maybe step aside money. I don't know. But I just got left in the dark and nothing happened. And then a year later now, I just got told that I'm fighting for a WBC title eliminator. And I thought, shoot, I just fought one. My next fight was supposed to fight against Crawford. So I've just been waiting. And then my mental kind of got messed up from it. My financial, it's been a year. And then I had to have surgery. So then I went out and now I'm just getting back to the gym and I'm excited and I'm hungry and I want to perform. So I just want to let you know that I'm ready to fight for the WBC world title. And I hope that day comes. I just wanted some clarity on that.
Thank you, champ. And I'm very happy that we're talking directly. As you know, the process always, the organization communicates with the promoters and the fighters have managers. So it is not often that the fighter and the organization talks directly. However, I'm always open and everything
That's what happened last time. And that's why I had a whole bunch of management issues because there's just a lot of misinformation. And I didn't know what was real or not real.
So the WBC has two types of elimination bouts. One is a elimination, which is between ranked fighters, and the winner moves up into a position that he can fight for a final elimination. The WBC, in order to become mandatory contender, you have to win a final elimination or to be voted by the Board of Governors as a mandatory contender of the division. So the fight you won was an elimination to put you in a position to fight a final elimination.
But so now if the guy who I fight in the final eliminator wins, he can't just fight for the title, right? He has to go and fight another eliminator 2 times, just like I did, correct?
No, because Chisoko is a silver champion. He already fought for the process to get into a final elimination. The issue here, Cody, is that now we're waiting for you to decide. You are... I'm waiting. Can you? I think it's something. Somebody's slow. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's the connection.
We order you to fight Chisoko. The purse bid was won by the French promoter, and today they're still saying that you might fight Ennis. So now we're waiting for you to decide.
Yeah, I just didn't understand how there was two title eliminators to fight for a world title. And then, like, I just didn't understand that. And then, because I fought for the eliminator, and once I won the eliminator, then other people fought for the interim title who I was above. So that just, I don't know. And then now I have to fight 2 eliminators. So I'm just questioning it. It doesn't make sense to me.
Okay.
I thought it was just 1 and 2.
I hope I made it clear that you fought an elimination bout, and that put you in a position for a final elimination. You had some contractual issues, some health issues with your injuries, but now you have the fight for the final elimination, but now it's you who's not in position. You might go to the IBF to fight Ennis, so we're waiting for you.
Okay.
Cody, have you decided what route you going?
I'm still questioning it. The amount of
I gotta be honest here. I seen a video you posted where you said, "Boots, I'm coming."
yes, because all of a sudden the other day I had no idea I was in a whole nother WBC eliminator.
You see how
I had no idea.
This is
it's
very it happens
unfair.
all the time to the WBC and the other organizations, where we get bombarded by something, and at the same time the fighter or the promoter is just juggling other options. I understand it's a business for you, it's your way of living. If you go to the IBF, I fully support you and I wish you the best, but then also understand that we respect you and we have done everything correct, and it is your decision whether you fight Chisoko or you go on and fight for the IBF with Ennis.
Right. Okay. Well, you will hear a decision soon, my friend. Thank you. I just all I ever want is clarity and honesty, because that's what I try and bring to the table. And there's boxing is missing a lot of honesty and clarity. So I just want to keep fighting.
I will be happy to send you all the letters that have to do with all this process, where everyone was informed exactly how it was.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mauricio.
God bless, and keep strong. God bless. You do a great job with your campaigns. Okay, I respect you so much.
Cody,
thank you, brother.
I got one. Since we being honest and clarity here, the split for the purse bid with the WBC is more favorable to you. If this IBF fight goes to purse bid, you get a lower split. So, how long? When do we know your decision?
That's a very hard thing for me too, because I've never been about money. I've always been in this sport because every fight I fight, I want to be in a position where I have to find a new part inside of me and pull that out in order to succeed. So I never want to take a step backwards in competition. I've been through a lot in my life. I lost my eye last year. I went completely blind. My last fight, I said I wouldn't fight again unless it was for a world title. The Boots opportunity, it's a third of what they offered me before. So that when it comes down to the mandate, it doesn't make sense business-wise. So I have a personal outlook and a business outlook that are kind of being weighed on right now. But I never want to take a step backwards or a fight backwards in competition. Boots is the highest level. He's right up there above me, accordingly. So I want to fight him. Now, it does not take that much conversation to make a fight happen. I understand there's a lot of logistics and legalities, but you put the fighters in contact with each other and get them to agree on a date, a money, and a network. It's pretty darn simple instead of promoters kind of, going back and forth, connecting to the team. Shoot, Boots, get on the phone and call me. I'm excited to make a fight happen. You want to get your publicity out there. You want to be fed on a great network to showcase your skill. Come and eat me. Come and snack on me for some food. I guarantee it's not going to be as tasty as it looks, because from the outside it looks pretty sweet and delicious. But I'm telling you, that shit is going to burn your stomach. And you're probably going to run to the bathroom about 20 minutes later and cough it up or poop it up. So do what you want to do. I wish you nothing but the best, my friend. I want to fight the best. So I'm right here. We can make this fight happen. Let's sign a contract. Let's have a training camp. Let's fight. I'm not that hard to make a deal with.
Well, I'm sure Eddie will be contacting you, Cody, man. Thank you for coming on. Obviously, thank you to Mauricio for being a good sport. You're all good, right, Cody? You're all done?
Yeah, I'm all good. The only thing I'm gonna say before I get off here is, Mauricio, next time you're in Vegas, owe me a run or a walk. Either way, we're getting those steps in.
Absolutely, champ. God bless. Take care.
Okay, thank you, brother.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, that wasn't that bad. See, a lot of things come down to clarity and understanding the rules and regulations of the WBC. I think you should take this time to employ more fighters to go to the convention. Ever since you allowed me to go to that one convention, I've been trying to go as much as possible. And I tell these fighters over and over, if they're not there, you're not learning. There's a lot of education happening in your conventions, not only for the officials, the referees, but for managers and fighters to be. What is the ceremony when? When you're mandating. To me, on the outside looking in, you could correct me if I'm wrong. It seems like it's better for a fighter and his team to be present during the mandating of certain rankings and ordering of fights. Am I wrong here?
No, of course, because that way you can put your case forward and you can explain and you can clarify things. Crowley is such a nice kid. I really like him. But we have to understand that everybody has their own position. Like, you are doing a program. You have someone doing your technical stuff and someone doing your commercial stuff and someone doing the renting. I mean, a fighter needs a manager and a promoter needs a television partner and sponsors. Everybody needs so it's not that the fighter just call the other fighter and make the fight. It sounds easy, but that is not the way it is. And if you see this case with Cody, is the perfect example. Now we are waiting in all good faith for him to decide whether he will go WBC or IBF. Very simple. It is not as we all think it is. He's a great kid, and I wish him the best. If he decides to go the WBC route, more than happy. If he goes to fight Ennis, we wish him the best. But it's not always the WBC that is portrayed as a bad guy, because it is not the case.
I got B 23 out of Virginia. Thank you for coming on TBV. Watching Haney Garcia press conference in New York, Devin looked to be upset with you. He may have even snubbed you on a handshake. I have heard you say Devin is a good friend in the past. How is your current relationship with your two-time WBC champion, Devin Haney? Talk about conspiracy theory, huh?
Better than ever. Oh, I spent a lot of time in the dressing room or the green room before the press conference. We talked, we laughed, we enjoy. I love his father, I love him. We have a great, great personal relationship. We talked a couple of weeks ago. So, you know, I've seen things like sometimes you're looking it has happened to me that I'm looking that way and someone goes like this and you think it's you. No, they're looking on the other side. Or sometimes you think they're going to shake your hand and they want to shake the other hand. Perception, it can be misleading, very bad. So absolutely nothing. He was not mad at me. We joked and smiled and we're very happy.
Mauricio, I want to bring this up, but credit to my producer, obviously, for reminding me. But this is something that I hope that you can actually mandate, that you brought up, implementing, is it 6 judges for the Fury-Usyk fight? I think we need that. You can't see from every direction. You know, depending on where the fighter's at, a judge may only see the back of one of the fighters. Where are we? Can you give us an update, and how soon can we start to see it? And will it be more than just Fury-Usyk? It's needed throughout the sport.
You know, boxing, human beings are in general with a resistance to change. Nobody likes changes. Nobody likes to explore how to do things better, very unfortunately. The idea of the 6 judges has been dropped by everyone else. So Fury-Usyk will not have the 6 judges that we had proposed. So the WBC is going to start doing only in WBC fights. We're going to start implementing a pilot program. And I mean, we have seen so many controversial decisions lately. One judge going completely this way, the other one completely this way. That range is incredible, and it happens, and it has happened to very good officials. Something is happening, and there's many things to do, which is training, which is monitoring, which is appointing the best officials for that specific fight. So we're going to start in the jurisdictions that accept this type of trials. We're going to start doing 6 judges, and we'll see where it goes. But it has always been like that. The WBC changed from 15 to 12 rounds. It took 3 or 4 years for the other organization to change, and a couple of deaths. We changed the weigh-in to a day before, same thing. Instant replay, we started 14 years ago. And still some commissions do not accept instant replay. Open scoring, it's a great success worldwide, but only the USA, a few commissions have used it. New Mexico uses it, but most of them do not accept any change, especially when it was not their idea.
Now, for the instant replay specifically, if you made it a rule that any WBC fight, the promoter needs to ask for instant replay by the commission, can that maybe help things? Because we certainly need instant replay. It's just not fair. Obviously, it wasn't a WBC fight because it was a prospect, but I remember Lorenzo Medina had a fight on MVP Prospects. They stepped on his foot, and they called it a knockdown, and he had to fight back. Luckily, he got a knockout, but, you know, he had to fight thinking, I'm down on the scorecards, when we could have just went to the monitor. So, yeah, how can the WBC...
Sometimes you look in the giant screen in the arena, you see it's different from what the referee ruled.
Exactly.
We are human beings, and maybe many times the referee is in the wrong angle, or the action is too fast. You don't know if the cut came from a punch, elbow, or headbutt. so many instances that you must secure the correct and just decision if it has to go to the instant replay. But some commissions simply do not allow it, and that has nothing to do with the organization or the promoter.
Now, just to be clear, it's not a financial burden on the promoter, right? The commission pays the commission officials, even if they're WBC officials, or does the promoter have to do that? Because I can see them saying, I don't want 6 judges. I'd rather pay for the 3.
Are we talking about instant replay or the judges?
Judges.
No, the judges, if there's something about May 18 that is not a concern, is money.
Moving forward, if we can't get it with that fight, let's try and implement it with other fights. And I'm just trying to make sure that that's not going to be an issue for a quote-unquote promoter to say, well, we're accustomed to paying for 3 officials. Why now we're going to pay for 6?
Well, promoters can promote at Madison Square Garden or at the Hulu Theater. Promoters can promote a huge fight or a small fight. And the fees for the judges go accordingly to the magnitude of the event. If what is more costly, paying additional small, it's nothing major. I mean, if you're talking about economics, it's nothing to be concerned about. But what is more costly, a bad decision, losing a champion to a bad decision, losing the crowd, losing the sponsors, losing the credibility, or a little couple more bucks to pay for a good system? Very simple.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're right about that. Since we're talking judges, I'm sure you're familiar with Joe Cortez. He came out with I don't know what to call it.
The chair?
The chair. I think that works. What's the issue? Because it takes up space? Like, why don't we use the chair?
Well, it's understandable because like in tennis, you have the judge in a very high chair, you can see better. If the judges were situated, because the judge position in ringside down in the ring is not the best seat in the arena. If you had the judges in a high chair, 4 or 5 rows back, he would sit perfectly. But how to install those big chairs? Where do you get them? Where do you construct them? You put them there. You take the space of several ringside seats, which are very expensive. You block the view of some fans. I see that is the logistics problem.
So my idea has always been no judges ringside. Can't we just put them in a room? No ring noise, because I believe the fans sway judges' opinion. You know, like you said, we're humans. I can lose my focus for a split second and hear the ooze and think I saw something versus being in the monitor in a room alone watching the fight on television without any outside influence. If that makes any sense.
Good luck proposing that change.
Oh, man.
We have a noise reduction headphones in our rules. We invite and we propose to the judges to wear them because certainly it has an influence. The crowd noise, the people next to you, the television commentators, you can even listen as a judge what they're saying, or the commissioners talking next to you. Or if you go to Thailand, they would put 4 or 5 people around you and clap every punch that is thrown by the local fighter. That happens in many countries. But resistance to change, my friend, that's a key.
It's so sad, man, because I think we're losing people because we don't get the like, if we see an outcome, that should be the outcome. But sometimes we watch a fight, we think someone won, and that's not the person that won, and that confusion is ruining the sport. But go ahead, Danny. I'm sorry.
Yes, I just wanted to ask. I mean, we mentioned tennis, and you mentioned like, oh, obviously the money, we might lose money I just want to point out tennis, especially at the top level, far more expensive than any big time boxing fight, like by far. But can we consider maybe using tennis venues since they're somewhat set up similar? Can we consider using, I mean, in New
But that
York
would only be
alone,
two judges, though, right? That'll go
well,
from
no,
three to
no.
two.
I mean, obviously now we would need that third chair, but at least the infrastructure of the venue is set up more like the seating in a tennis venue starts a lot higher because of that, right? So for the most part, so I just think that maybe again, I know you said a lot of people aren't willing to change or are against change, but something has to give, and I think that's a smaller compromise. There's some marvelous tennis venues. I know you went yourself. I believe you were at Haney Cambosis too, that they did at the Rod Laver Arena, which is where the Australian Open happens. I think that was a great venue for a boxing fight.
Yeah, but you can set up in any venue the chairs. It's just a matter of the high chairs will be, the promoters will be against it, and even the fans will be against it. If the judge is blocking you, you're gonna start throwing beer at him. It's a complication. I mean, there's never a right answer. What you say, I know you're very passionate, and you watch the fight, and you can be biased. The difference between the judge watching a fight and every other person is several things. Judge should not have a favorite. I believe in the honorability of the judges. They should be completely concentrated the 3 minutes of the round. Fans, media, you're talking to your friend, having a sip. There's a fight in the audience, or somebody goes, a beautiful girl. You're with your friends. Maybe you gambled, you bet on the fight. Nationality. Many circumstances are different from the official judge sitting there and the fan, the media, the other people. So it's not easy. It's a sport. It's only mathematics. The more judges that watch a fight, the more possibility of getting the right decision. That's it. Math.
Mauricio, thank you. Obviously, for at least being open to the question. Second thing for me, I wanted to know status on Charles Conway. I know he's fighting next weekend in New York. Just wanted to know he is your, obviously he's representing the
WBC
WBC, the
silver.
silver champ. Silver, if I'm not mistaken. So just wanted to know he's been inactive. Just want to know, the latest on him.
Are we talking about super welterweight Charles Conwell?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, we had ordered a fight, and he had been so inactive that they contacted us and they said, please let me do a tune-up fight first. So he's doing the tune-up fight, and there we will go into what is next.
Got you. Thank you so much for that.
I got James Benitez in Atlanta. Good afternoon. Why are fighters allowed to remain in their ranked positions when they turn down a title shot? Your prestigious belt doesn't deserve that. Fighters should be removed or pushed back out of the top 10 rankings altogether from that division if they avoid a fight. I.e., Isaac Cruz did not fight Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah, it's a situation that is very complicated. We ordered Stevenson, Isaac Cruz, for promotional reasons that did not happen. Then Martin was going to fight Stevenson. We did through the whole process, then that fell apart. Like you just saw, Cody Crowley, the number one contender, may not fight for the WBC. It is Conceptually, it's easy to see it. In reality, and injustice to the fighter is not as easy. So we try to take every single case separately and particularly and rule on that. But I agree with you completely.
I have Stephen Smith in Toronto. Sulaiman, it's time for 3-minute rounds in women's boxing.
Good luck, my friend. Go and try to get girls injured, permanently injured. You like blood? You should go to the Colosseum in Rome in the past. The WBC is for safety. Women and men are different in body, in the neck area, in hormones, in the process of the monthly period. So don't come and try to get women hurt. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't be brutal. I respect your opinion, but no, absolutely no. There's no accidents in women's boxing. Very little.
Mauricio. Now, obviously, this was a topic that came up when we were fortunate enough to be at the WBC convention a few years back. And I'm not opposed to the 2-minute rounds, so I don't want what I'm about to say to be confused. But as somebody who is in boxing gyms on a regular basis throughout the country, I cannot say the world, but throughout the country, I can count on one hand the number of times I've seen women spar 2-minute rounds. I always see women spar 3-minute rounds. And let's not talk about the top women because they're sparring 3-minute rounds against men. Is there any, I just want the proper information that the WBC receiving. Is this also being shared with the, with the women fighters? Because obviously they spar a lot more than they fight. So I don't, injuries can happen in the gym. I just want them, are they receiving the same information you're receiving?
I mean, they can spar. Women, of course, they can fight 3 minutes. I'm not saying they cannot. The risk of an injury goes from here to here. That's simple. When you are fighting, you get dehydrated and you get fatigued. And women have a higher percentage tendency of concussion. This is all being studied, and we are not going to put women at risk. Men, many of them spar 5-10 minutes. Floyd sparred 40 minutes one time. Of course, they can do it. We're not saying they cannot. This is not about equality. This is about safety. So we will not change unless there's completely medical, scientific evidence that they are not at the higher risk. We will not change to 3-minute rounds. Absolutely not. And
and I don't want that. I just want the women fighters to be informed because, again, injuries can occur in sparring, and I just want everybody to be properly informed on what they're doing because, again, I see it happen. It's not about capabilities, but a safety thing.
We had the women's convention, and many fighters were there. When they heard the doctors explained, they were at awe. And they said, thank you, WBC, for letting us know. It's just a matter, boxers are willing to do whatever they need to do to get in the ring and to get paid. Boxers would fight 50 rounds if they were asked to. I mean, look at this. They're fighting bare knuckle. They're doing the slap thing, which is, I mean, it's incredible. So I'm very sorry, but I have a meeting.
No worries. No worries. Oh, did we lose you completely?
You must have been running late to that meeting.
Word.
Well,
could have been that Saudi call. You feel me?